This looks like a job for Superman.
Welcome to Super Pals. I'm Jared. I'm here with Robert. What's up, man?
Yo, what up?
And today we are discussing, what's up, Thoth? Today we are discussing Superman Doomed, the big new 52 Superman event that is... So here's the thing. Yes, the title's a little clickbaity, but screw it. The thing about it is, like, this is the culmination of DC teasing Doomsday and like the Superman Wonder Woman books and the Superman books, obviously, before this.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So the thing that is important to know about the storyline. So the other reason why I brought this up, because here's the thing about this book. When they wanted to adapt Death of Superman for the DCAMU, in my mind, this is what they should have done. Granted, they would have had to like change a few things if they just wanted to do the doomed part. But it's like this, I think, would have fit a little better. But anyway, so Robert, let's start with your general thoughts on Doomed.
I thought Doomed was probably one of the peak of that and Jeff Johns' run, of course, were the peak of New 52 Superman, for my opinion.
Yeah, me too. And the other part that I really liked about it is that it really gave you more insight onto who Superman is as a character, particularly this version of Superman, because this version gets slandered a lot, I noticed.
Which I would say, I will personally say, sometimes unjustified, but not 100% unjustified. Especially when you look at everything that both led up to and came after Doomed. I gotta say, a lot of it was dull.
Yeah, exactly.
Like after Grant Morrison's run, you had Paul Cornell try to get on, but then it didn't go much. He dropped quickly, and then some of the runs afterward were just up and down. Greg Pak's run was serviceable. I would say that a lot of New 52's runs were serviceable at best.
Yeah, they weren't horrible. It's just like I was like, okay, that is like a very interesting way that they went with the character, I think.
Oh yeah, and I'm not saying it's all bad. I'm just saying a lot. Like I said, Doom was the peak. You include Superman, Wonder Woman at its start, and that's the other thing. This takes up most of the remains of Superman, Wonder Woman.
That's the other part. That's why. So here's the thing. I love 6 through 12, the issues of Superman, Wonder Woman, like whatever is volume 2. But the thing is like, yeah, if you don't know if you're not reading Superman Doom, like I remember I got the trades before I read anything about Doomed. So I was like, what happened?
Exactly. If you were just by the issues alone, you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. But okay, so here's the way that the story goes. So in this, the new 52 story of Doomsday is that he was an experiment that was like unleashed. He was a weapon, but he was confined to the Phantom Zone. So during the Superman Wonder Woman run, when Wonder Woman encountered him on that like Navy ship, it was because he was punching his way out.
Now, here's the interesting thing. They say Superman had died before, but clearly not by Doomsday's hand if we go by this. That's the thing where things get a little confusing.
Yeah, exactly. So then Doomsday emerges in this. And then, so the interesting thing that they played with Doomsday is that there's a death field around him.
Well, he evolved into that death field. First, we see him marching through the into the ice caps, and he falls into the water. Then he becomes this weird, twisted amoeba being, and then he comes out of that amoeba being.
Yeah, because the conceit of Doomsday is that when he adapts, he like becomes immune to whatever killed him previously.
Yeah, but that was just so weird. He falls into the water. We see him change, and we think like, oh, what's going to happen here? And then, oh, he just climbs out of it.
Yeah,
Really?
exactly.
That was again a case of editorial. Just again, clearly they continued on with it, but in the case of the writers were like, don't know what to do with it. Let's just bring it back to regular Doomsday.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so.
Then he had the death field. Yeah.
So the death field happened, and Superman realizes it. So I will say there was some great dialogue in this. So when Superman realizes he's going to have to actually kill Doomsday, the funny thing about it that I really like is like, so Wonder Woman sees him off when he's about to go fight, and then she goes, "Bring me his head," and then Superman goes, "That's the most romantic thing you've ever said to me." Although it does kind of reinforce the whole she's a bloodthirsty warrior thing.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I was like, although if it's like an occasional joke, it's like okay, but it's like, yeah, I'm like, it's one of those bittersweet things where I'm like, I like it, but I acknowledge what it's representing.
Yeah.
But so what happens? Superman goes and fights them. But now this is one of the parts that I'll agree with Robert that this is the part that I didn't really dig. So the way Superman beats him is he just literally tears him in half.
Now they were implying in Lobdell's issues earlier that he was bench pressing the planet, not literally but figuratively.
Like, he was bench pressing what is essentially the weight of the planet.
Yeah, but even still, Doomsday should not have been that fragile.
Yeah, but anyway, so he does this, but Doomsday also has like this virus thing. So Superman inhaled the virus so it wouldn't harm anyone else. And this is where Super Doomed comes from. It's the idea that Superman is turning into Doomsday.
Which, yeah, and that's the funny thing is, up until that issue, people thought no one knew what was going to happen.
Which I'm like, credit to where credit is due, because again, the credit to the New 52 for doing a new take on the death of Superman in a way where it doesn't rehash the exact same plot.
Exactly. And the other thing, he doesn't even die. Doomsday dies.
Well, and here's the other thing. Let's say hey, what's up, NJ and HWH? Let's say he did permanently turn to Doomsday. Technically, Superman would have died.
Yep. And for a brief moment, he kind of did, and they did nothing with it.
Yeah, so it's like they kind of did it, but they didn't, in other words. So that's why I have that's one of the reasons why I have a lot of respect for this story arc, because again, it's like my biggest pet peeve is like, okay, every iteration of Superman, we have to do this story.
Now, and I will get this. This story also does show a lot of the overall New 52 problems, but it did it in a way that actually worked.
Now, the only thing about this I didn't like was the BS thing about like, I'm sorry, I still hate Cyborg Superman's origin in this.
Being Supergirl's dad.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because I'm sorry, that is just dumb as hell.
Now this, it does play off of it, finally play due with it, something they had been building up on. That was the Lois being infected by Brainiac story.
And JH, okay, if he still had the moral code and was still Superman, what's the point of him turning into Doomsday?
Yeah.
That's the thing. And plus, again, this is a version of the death of Superman. They can't just turn him into a monster.
And keep him that way.
Yeah, they can't. So it's like, the other thing I really liked, this also showed one of the cool things about the New 52 suit is that as it would grow, because again, it's like Kryptonian nanotech, it would like adjust and grow with him. And then you see like spikes coming out of it.
Yep. Although I want to say this, apparently this happens both during when Supergirl was still Red Lantern and then after she was cured.
Yeah, exactly.
That felt, again, that shows some of the problems here. You would have some moments that would happen without it being really needed and all that.
Yeah, so Superman has moments where he starts to turn to Doomsday. So then you get to the Superman and Wonder Woman issues, where the other thing that Doomsday does is he like exposes a lot of Superman's insecurities. Like he told Wonder Woman he loves her, and she hasn't set it back yet. That will come later in the arc, but it's Wonder Woman is like going around to like people that Superman would call. Like he talks to Lois, and this is two things. Number one, this is where it's hinted that Lois is under the control of Brainiac.
Yep. Oh,
it
did nothing. Nothing. It's confirmed.
Yeah. The other thing it did that I really liked is it actually did something with Diana being the goddess of war, like where she can talk to all of the soldiers and they go, and then the soldiers like, how do you know my name? She goes, I am war. I know all soldiers.
Yep. This is where.
And Robert, I lost you. He probably has a phone call, but yeah, but that's what I always like really liked. And yeah, it was in Death Metal. No, I think it's the first Metal story by Scott Snyder, where Jimmy became a Doomsday thing, a Doomsday creature. But yeah, and
sorry about that.
Yeah,
a phone call cut me off.
Yeah, but anyway,
no, the comic. No, that was Smallville that did it. Oh no, All Star did have that happen.
Yeah. I was about to say Smallville. There was just like a dude that was a.
Well, no. In Smallville, that was also Jimmy's brother.
Yeah. Oh, and Jim brings up a good point as well. The Wonder Woman's God mode thing also shined in this when she's trying to get Hesha to help Superman because Hesha's like an Amazonian healer. Is there a female variant of Doomsday? No, there's not. There's always just the male one. But anyway,
yeah, but as I was saying was before my phone call interrupted me, was that again, there's plenty of stuff in here that is very good, but it's like they keep introducing. Oh yeah, no. Here's what I was gonna say. This is where it's also then confirmed Brainiac and the Collector are one and the same.
Oh yeah.
They have been building up to that again, but you can also say this is a case of them undoing a uniqueness to make it more mainstream.
That's true.
Would you agree with that? Like the Collector was fine. We didn't need Brainiac, but then they're like, nope, let's make a Brainiac.
They probably figured because Brainiac is the air quote collector of worlds.
True, but again, it's like, but they could have just kept him as the Collector. They didn't have to name him Brainiac anymore.
That's true. By the way, the other part that I really like about this is here's a live feed of Lois talking to Superman.
How would you like me to make your life a living hell?
Well, I'm not really ready for a relationship, Lois, but thank you for asking.
Oh, ha, ha, ha.
I had to, bro, this is the one time I can appropriately use that clip.
Except that's not exactly how it played out.
But it's evil Lois. Come on, bro.
Yeah, that you completely is able to help turn the tide once she's able to take back control.
I know. And Jay, he's not easy to destroy in the show.
Wait,
Robert,
what?
You want to take this one?
He's a machine. All right, you can destroy a body in a TV show, and he'll always come back.
Yeah, and he returns all the time, and oftentimes stronger.
Exactly, because he's always able to leap into new bodies.
Yeah,
much like Cyborg Superman does.
Yeah, but okay. So with this, so Superman struggles to control Doomsday, and it's around this time that then the Brainiac invades. So.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also actually actually first, this is when essentially I think it was Lex. Yeah, Lex turned Metallo into a kryptonite bomb. Their idea is drop in the atmosphere because that won't have any negative effects on people.
Mm-hmm.
And what it ends up doing is it doesn't stop Brainiac. It just stops Clark from being able to control Doomsday.
I know, and now they kill off Metallo for this.
He comes back. Obviously, he got better.
By the way, you then have Nan and Mongo show up, and then they turn right around again. It's like, what is up with this? What is up with this whole? We start up with something, and then the next part is like, nope, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. So the Doomsday thing happens, and that's when Superman has to like fly away because his idea is, I'm gonna fly away, control this, and then I'll come back. He has a nice emotional goodbye with Wonder Woman, and then he's blasted by Guy Gardner, Supergirl, and I forget who the ball Red Lantern
I
is.
forget what he is, but I know who you mean. The big head.
Yeah, Elementa says, what I know about Doomed is that it's one of those editorial events that kept interrupting Greg Pak's run on Action Comics when his run was getting good. Right? Was it?
I would kind of agree to that, yes.
All right. But so they land. And again, so this is when I think even Guy Gardner is the leader of the Red Lanterns at this point, right?
Yep. And Supergirl was a Red Lantern, and we immediately skipped to her already being cured.
I know that volume 2 of the Omni is probably going to have this as well, I would imagine.
But like I said, what happened the next issue? Inside, when Superman actually goes back into his head, realizing I need Doomsday free, Doomsday snaps his neck and seems to take over. And then the next issue doesn't follow up on that.
Yeah, it doesn't. And
Did you see what I mean? There's how many of these things happen where they introduce something, and next issue or next installment of the crossover, womp womp.
So anyway, the other part that I really like, the other issue about this that I really like is, so Diana has her God mode powers on, and she's trying to stop Clark. So again, Clark has the death field at this point, and Diana knows if he crosses into this town, he will kill everyone. So she is prepared to kill him. And this comes back to one of the main points. So it's up, Tavia. In Superman and Wonder Woman's relationship, where the world always comes first over their relationship.
Well, that I will always appreciate. That I will always.
Yeah, Robert, it's like the stereotype for like Super Wonder is that it just turns Wonder Woman to Superman's girlfriend or something like that. But it's like this is also why I took such a violent opposition, violence an extreme word, but you know what I mean, to King's Wonder Woman being obsessed with Steve, because like this is the way Diana would realistically be.
Agreed. You will not hear an argument from me on that at all. I may be criticizing the story, but I want to say this. Despite these issues I'm giving, it was still a fun, entertaining story that just had a lot of disappointed, like, oh, really? Oh, really?
It's one of those occasions where they start a plot point that looks cool and they drop it.
Yeah, but again, the overall story was fun. I'll say this. The overall story was still good. It's just those plot points that kept being brought up and dropped. I mean, I'm still annoyed that we didn't find out, what did that mean when Doomsday snapped Clark's neck?
Yeah, exactly. I always took that as more, no, he was just incapacitating Clark's ability to control in his memory.
Except he said, oh, Clark, but remember, you killed me. Snap!
Yeah, I know.
And then he's more mutated. We never saw that beyond that last page.
Yeah. So the other thing that what happens is, so they have a plan. Wonder Woman goes into the Phantom Zone to get Mongol and War World, because she needs, and I love how it's drawn like the Death Star.
Yep, they needed the weapon.
And then a question: Red Lantern, Supergirl. Yes, she is. Yes, exactly. And Elementa says, to the point that New 52 Wonder Woman's trades at the time label her as Superman's girlfriend in the title. No, they don't.
No, they did not.
They did not, not at any point.
Never did they do that.
Yeah, because it's like they knew that, like put it this way, even in like the Lois Lane occasional books that would come out, they don't call her Superman's girlfriend or wife anymore in the title.
Yep. By the way, one other thing to point out. Earlier, we saw that Steel had got infected, so he had to actually wear a steel suit over himself.
And I liked where he saves Lana. He can actually transfer some of that suit to someone. That was really cool.
Yep. Now, of course, then Brainiac shows. Basically, I just realized this is like also like Our World's at War with Brainiac hijacking everything.
Yeah. The other thing I really like, so Brainiac captures Clark, and Clark has like a like vision of the future.
Possible futures, yeah.
Yeah, the funny part is that one of them is he goes, wait a minute. When Superman tells Bruce, unbelievable, you better hope Diana doesn't hear when you talk about her. Then Bruce says, who's Diana? And then Clark goes, yeah, you didn't, you may, you almost had me there, but you gave up you gave me everything you thought I wanted, both of us, Bruce and me.
Except for Diana, because she wasn't connected. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Because and they say that earlier in the book when she shows up at the fortress, it's the advantage of being a demigod. So hey, they played with that as well.
Exactly.
So I'm like, oh, that's actually very fascinating. I love when they do that. And then Jace Williams says, I heard they were going to make a live action Superman movie featuring Doomsday. It was supposed to happen in 2012. No, that was it wasn't 2012. That was Superman Lives.
Yeah, Superman Lives. And but then we find out they tried that. One other thing I do find interesting. They reveal through Lois trying to hijack what Brainiac was doing, which was trying to gather up all this mental energy to be a reality warper. And turns out they try to show this version of Brainiac had a family and then lost. She gives it to him and he's like, thank you, I need their energy. And it's like, you scumbag.
Yeah, exactly. So then what you get is Doomsday is essentially a wormhole opens and Superman like throws the ship in, but then he also expels the Doomsday virus into the like black hole, and that's how he like purges it out of his system.
And then it would lead into convergence.
Yeah, exactly. And then Superman
including Brainiac. Yeah, Brainiac is also founded by the big Brainiac, and apparently gets absorbed by him.
Yeah, and then he's like knocked away and then Superman, it takes him 18 months, I think. No,
gains a cool beard.
Yeah, he has the beard, which I gotta say, Superman with a beard, I'm gonna always say it. It looks amazing.
Unless it's a Santa Claus beard, then it's stupid.
And it's really dumb, like the one where he has all the guns.
Yep, come on, there's that bearded idiot.
And the Linkara joke, I'm a man.
Oh, I am a man.
Yeah. So then Superman writes a story that's like that I really liked, where it was like his storyline is like, does the world really need Superman because it survived for so long without him? And even Lois is like, if you think based on that article you wrote, you know nothing about Superman. I'm like, that is so ironic.
It's just where they had a quiet. I know, let's be honest. It's a case where it's like they had a brief time of peace. Just a brief time of peace. Doesn't mean, a year and a half doesn't mean much.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like you get the storyline where the plant creature that Superman had given Wonder Woman you're supposed to like water it with oil, but then it turns into an oil sucking.
Oh no! Yep.
Yeah, which
By the way,
yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry. And that was Future's End Brainiac, but then he wouldn't get resolved until Convergence.
Yeah, exactly. And then what I liked is like when Superman got Swamp Thing to talk to the plant, because you're both plants. I assume you know each other. That's regular Plantis, if I may say so myself.
By the way, to answer Tevia's question, it was an earlier story that Lobdell had done.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
it wasn't brought to a head until now, until that story.
Until Doom. And then why did they ban it? Multitude of factors. Like any movie, it just fell apart.
Yeah, Elementa says, you're right. It was a fan-made version of New 52 Wonder Woman #5. Someone made for an article to complain about Super 1D. My bad. It's all good. Trust me, nowadays it's hard to tell what's real or not, so you're good.
Because some fan edits can be really good.
Some of them are very convincing, exactly. Jace Williams says, why did they abandon Superman?
Yeah,
that's the topic for another stream, for sure.
I would just simply say, like any other movie, it fell apart.
Well, here's a chief reason why. You're ready? You ready?
Yep.
It's Batman and Robin.
Yep.
That is the chief reason why.
Yep. And can I be personally honest?
Yeah.
I don't think Burton would have done a good Superman. He was barely able to do a good Batman.
Yeah, the thing about it is when people saw that like documentary and they were like, "Oh, it actually sounds really cool," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's true," but here's the problem: any idea will sound good on paper.
Yeah, would Burton be able to execute it? Again, let's be honest. He was never a diehard Batman fan.
No, because when you look at his Batman, it's very much not Batman.
Well, the first one was, but that's because he was relying on the script. One's given complete creative control. No, for him, it was the rest of the world he was building on.
Yeah, exactly. Tevia says, "What was the reaction to this?"
Well, I can answer that one. It was entertaining.
Yeah, and this is my opinion on the story. It's not perfect by any means.
Yeah, listen to my complaint. Listen to my complaints.
Yeah, exactly. However, when you look at like all of the Superman stories that were going on around this time that were just about Superman, so not Superman, Wonder Woman, not Batman, Superman, not even Justice League, that were just Superman stories, not a lot of them got to this level of epicness.
They really didn't. And Lovedale tried.
No, he did try. It's not like he didn't try at all with the storyline. And the other thing I really liked about Lovedale is that he played into a lot of different elements for Superman, like his relationship with Wonder Woman, like this. He managed to fit all of this really crazy continuity that was going on at the time into this one storyline or like this one run.
And I'll say this, the closest they ever got to the epicness was the Hell duology.
Which was awesome.
Oh, yeah. But again, they suffered the same problem. They kept changing things as the story went.
Yeah, I know.
Which, again, if you ask me, that is the biggest problem New 52 had. When it came to a lot of the books, not all, but a lot of them, they made it up as the story went on. And when sometimes just, again, as we feel it. Yeah, again, what I said here was doomed. You have Mongo non-chop where you're like, yeah, let's show them. And then they're like, nope, let's go back to the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, he goes, nope, I'm out. Which
it's
is
like,
funny.
What?
Which is a funny idea for a storyline, but the rest of it, I'm like,
what?
Yeah, I'm like, oh no.
Exactly.
But that's the problem with it. But besides that, as a story in and of itself, yes, there are 100% like criticisms of it, obviously. No, but it's like, oh, this is dope.
Oh yeah, overall, it is dope. No argument.
And then Tevia says, what was the point of Mongol and Phantom King?
Again, well, Phantom King, you needed it so they can actually do something in the Phantom Zone without him interfering.
Yeah, exactly. And now, let me ask
Mongo was just for War World.
Yeah, the only issue that I have with this book, and again, that's not necessarily the issue with the storyline. It's just the really bullshit, like Cyborg Superman is Supergirl's daughter, but that's not an issue with
father.
Father. Sorry, I'm like, no, I don't take away Hank Henshaw.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, don't end that.
Yeah, but to be honest, though, that was something that was already going on in the Supergirl books for a while by that point.
I know. That's why I'm like, that's my issue. But it's like, again, it's not like an issue with the story itself. It's just with the way the character was handled.
Again, for me, my biggest issue was the constantly drop plot point. It was just like, was this really needed?
Yeah, but however, the other thing I really did like, though, I liked how it segued from Doomsday into the Brainiac storyline. Because here's the thing, that storyline, if it was just the Doomsday thing, it would not be like this thick of a storyline.
You really wouldn't have that much to tell.
Yeah, exactly.
The Brainiac thing is what made it interesting. But again, you have to wonder, was it always meant to be part of the story, or did they tack it on?
It's, in some ways, it seems like I think my theory is that it was originally just supposed to be Doomsday, but they realized, okay, we keep setting up this Brainiac thing, and we keep not doing anything with it.
Let's finally pull the trigger on it. And they need a Brainiac for Convergence.
Yeah, and Tevia, yeah, this was kind of a lead into Convergence.
It was. Issue 0 is like an epilogue.
Yeah,
The Convergence issue 0 was like an epilogue.
Yeah, exactly. And Convergence is a storyline that's like in and of itself. I
liked it.
Yeah, but it's like it's clearly just a buying time event.
That's true, but can I be brutally honest?
Mm-hmm.
It felt more of a follow-up to Crisis than Final Crisis did.
Oh yeah, 100%. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Yeah, again, I
Anything
hate.
feels like a follow-up to Crisis if you're comparing it to Final Crisis.
I don't want to trash Final Crisis. On its own, it's a good event. But again, what does it say when the only thing people seem to think about when writers call back to it, it's just that was a Doomsday, a Dark Side event.
And JH, that's a question to ask. Why doesn't Superman do that to any of his villains?
For one, Superman doesn't kill, and even then,
And
Doomsday, throw him in the sun would not kill Doomsday.
Because Doomsday is in this continuity, Doomsday is Kryptonian. That would make it worse.
They dropped that, but even still, he was still, even then, even they just tossed him into the sun. Let me put it this way. Doomsday was able, the only thing that would have stopped Doomsday that they had tried was send him to the Big Bang.
Yeah,
the end of time. And that worked, but then Brainiac picked him up, and now you can't set him back there without creating a paradox.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's like the one thing that could stop him you can't do anymore because there'll be a paradox now.
So who made Doomsday in this continuity? I think in the new 52...
They barely touched on it.
I think they just said it was like a Kryptonian scientist or something like that.
Yeah, like I said, they barely touched on it.
Yeah, and now it's not my favorite origin for Doomsday. I'm fine with the post-crisis, or in reality, the one that's canon now, which is just the Bertram, or like they made him to fight Darkseid, which
I don't mind the Darkseid connection because we saw it work.
Yeah, that was like Wade looked back on it and it was like
because it worked in Hunter Prey.
Because remember, Doomsday was such a threat that Darkseid was calling the Justice League for help.
Well,
Darkseid.
He was calling Superman for help, but yeah.
No, but you know what I mean. So it's that's one of those retcons or like reveals or whatever the term is. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's fine. You can explore that. I'm fine with that because it makes sense also that as big of a threat that Darkseid is, wouldn't like some intergalactic group want to use Batman's terms, contingency plan for Darkseid?
Exactly.
And what's better of a contingency plan than someone that after you kill him, he comes back immune? Conceivably, Doomsday could be immune to the Omega beams eventually.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah. Wait, does Batman have a contingency plan for Doomsday? Okay, it's. You're getting too caught up in the weeds, but the answer is probably yes. Convergence was an event that had good parts, not so good parts, and had a satisfying ending. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
I'll say this. The tie-ins were the better part.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And then Tevye says, actually, speaking of the Hal duology, didn't the duology also kind of kill off New 52 Superboy?
Oh, yes. Yes, they did.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Technically, they did.
What do you mean, technically?
He came back eventually. Well, no, then you brought in the clone.
He died, but he got better.
Yep, there was a clone version of him that was running around, and then it became a whole thing.
And wasn't that where it was revealed that Kara is racist against clones?
Yep. I mean, for good reason.
Yeah, but it's like, what is this contributing? Oh, begun the Clone War has.
Begun the Clone War has.
Yeah, but anyway, so the parts that this does really well is it communicates that Superman always puts the world first. And again, not just talking about his relationship with Diana, but it's also where he says, I'm not going to endanger the world. I'm going to fly off to another planet until I can get control of this, and then I'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
And then NJ says, does Batman have a contingency plan for the presence, though? Ooh.
Nope,
because there is none. The presence is God.
And the presence wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, the presence is not... It's not like the presence gets involved in DC lore that much.
No, because he's more of a Vertigo thing, though. Let's be fair. That's mainly why.
Yeah, and then Element says, I love the Convergence in Justice universe. It doesn't feature apart from a mention. Then it got destroyed because it's Superman got his butt kicked so bad. Yes, I love that too. Let the Injustice universe die a long and painful death. Yeah,
but let's be honest, though. They also had the Futures End world beat the Just Imagine Stan Lee characters.
That's true.
I'm sorry, that was bullshit.
Tevia says, I will give this story some credit. While I have some problems with it, looking back at this after all these years, you guys make a lot of good points. Yeah, it's not that bad. And then
Yeah, it was fun. It was just fun, is what I say.
Yeah, and JH says, Batman has a contingency plan for the Spectre. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
But this whole thing about Batman has a contingency plans for everyone is actually a lie. What happens is he has a contingency plan for the main Justice League.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone else who said he had a contingency plan? It's like, let me check. Does Batman have a contingency plan for Spectre?
I highly doubt I think that's more
Nope.
like people are are like trying to expand.
Because here's the other thing, Batman's not that good with magic.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, that's not the way that works.
If anything, his only contingency plan would be Justice League Dark.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like Wonder Woman leads that team.
Yep. I will say this though, I did like that the whole fail-safe being done because Superman called him out and saying like, when he's like, I do have it. It's called the Justice League. To which Superman's like, bull crap, because that was because you were able to take us down. If you were able to take you down and take us, if you were able to take us down, how can we stop you?
You can't.
Exactly. I love that because again, that moment sounded like a good moment on paper, but then it's like, wait a minute.
Also, that's not in the comic. That's in the movie.
But they made it in the comic.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, because they were like, oh, that is a good line.
Yeah, they kept it in the comic.
So Batman's contingency plan for Dark... He doesn't have a contingency plan. He just shot him with a radion gun.
Yeah, a bullet that Darkseid had created.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like he has a contingency plan. It even had a happy ending for Superboy Prime. I wish they kept that, but I'm enjoying Primes in the DCKO. By the way, he has the best catchphrase ever besides Cassie.
It's prime
time.
And to be fair, Elementa, again, they're continuing his happy ending.
It's not like, it's not like they retconned out that it didn't happen.
Or they're having he fell off the wagon.
Yeah, again.
No, they fooled us. Fooled you.
Mm-hmm.
But they only fooled us so he can fool the Legion.
Yeah, exactly. Which I love when that happened. And he goes, I have no problem killing Legion.
I actually do hate you guys.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. I love that.
I love that. He's just like, yeah, I hate you guys.
Yeah, I definitely dug that. So that's an example of an original idea that DC's doing that I'm like, okay, you know what? This could actually be really fun.
Exactly.
But anyway, so let's see. So...
But yeah, but overall, again, I say this was a very good story, but it also shows a lot of the flaws. It highlights a lot of the flaws that New 52 Superman had.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's like the new 52 Superman, the comics, and by comics, I don't mean like, again, Superman, Wonder Woman, or anything. I'm talking about just the Superman in action comics book.
Yeah.
The problem is they kept introducing interesting plot points and then not doing anything with them.
They kept doing that. Again, even right in the middle of an event.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, this would have been actually really cool. Because can you imagine if, like, Non started a war during this event because he sees the Justice is distracted?
And actually, to be fair, dude, it was Sewell who dropped a bunch of the doomed ones.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I'm saying he would, yeah, because a lot of times they had the setup, and then it would be the Superman Wonder Woman issue, and then it'd be like, whomp.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jay says, couldn't Flash kill Doomsday using mass amounts of... Okay, we're not doing any more conversations about could blank kill Doomsday. Kill Doomsday.
Yeah, no, we're not.
That's not what the stream is about. The stream is about the storyline.
Exactly. I mean,
But anyway, it's like the other really interesting... the other positions that I think that this... does.
Oh, I'll say one thing. This was New 52 Lois's last great moment, if you ask me. Her setting all that power in the Superman. Because what happened not long after this?
She exposed his secret identity.
Bitch.
All right.
Sorry.
I'm going to play it again. No,
sorry.
I'm going to play it again.
How would you like me to make your life a living hell?
Well, I'm not really ready for a relationship, Lois, but thank you for asking.
Sorry, and again, I'm sorry for cursing like that. It just
Good. Tevia asks, how do you feel about New 52 Lois Lane losing her memory?
well, that was needed.
I would say so.
Yeah, she was losing the brainiac powers. They wanted to put the genie back in the bottle about her knowing Superman, and then it got completely thrown out.
It literally got completely undone.
Then again, so did everything that Jeff Johns built up.
Yeah.
All because John Romita Jr. wanted to toss everything out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
And they wanted to appease him.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, oh, wow.
I'm not kidding. You do know that's the reason, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It was all done because Romita wanted to toss, to just turn the table. And funny enough, just like with BMB, it took someone from Marvel to come in and be like, let's make it more like Marvel.
Oh God.
Except
Tevia asked, Ramito really had that power? Yeah.
Because he was the big star.
If you're a big star in the comic, it's why King and like Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson get away with a lot.
Yeah, and he was now, of course, once BMB came on then by comparison, Romita was stepped away a little
because it's like, look at who they tossed to the side. You had Tomasi, you had Gleason, you had all these, you had Jurgens. They threw to the side.
All for BMB. But yeah, so Romita was the big talent they brought on. They brought him on board for that Jeff Johns run, and then afterwards it's like, okay, well, I want to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, you know what? We got to go over that at some point. Not next week, but the week after. We got to go over the true stuff. And I would say the downfall of New 52 Superman.
And Superman Wonder Woman.
Well, that too, but you get what I mean. I'll be honest. Of all the things that tied into Truth, Super Wonder was the least bad.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Even though it was
You're saying that as a shipper, or not a shipper, but as a fan of that pairing and how the book was before. But overall writing, it was the better Superman book.
Yeah, comparatively, but I'm like, no. They try to play it off as her trying to help Superman because the villain was blackmailing him, but the whole Truth event was frustrating. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. But again, we gotta just talk about that because that was the downfall. That was like, there was a point of no return. There was almost no salvaging him.
At that point, even though they could have, let me put it this way.
That would take too much work to do it.
Yeah, let me put it this way. It would be too much work for what DC is willing to do.
Exactly.
You could just do another hard reboot, which they were not going to do at that point.
No, so you could say, did they take the easy route? Yes, but it was also the one that, again, fans were losing patience. Let's be honest. Fans were losing patience beyond all measure.
Yeah, exactly. So let's discuss, let's do a little quick question and answers session. NJ says Tomasi ruined a great couple. Yes, he did.
I will agree. I will not argue that point, but I still stand by it was the better of the super books during the true storyline.
No, but ignoring that, because remember, he wrote them even before that.
Oh, yeah. I will acknowledge that as well. I'm just saying, though, by comparison, it was the saving grace.
Exactly. But yeah, any questions about Superman, New 52, whatever you guys would like to talk about, go ahead.
Yep, because I'm sorry. Just remembering Truth really brings back bad memories, because this was a point where it's like, again, I didn't think they would get lower, and then BMB happened, but still.
Tevia asked, with JMS Superman, BMB, and New 52 Truth, which storyline was better?
I cannot count JMS because he didn't finish it.
Yeah, that's true. He left halfway.
That goes to Chris Robertson, and I'm sorry, and then it became a better story. So, but that wasn't what JMS was writing. So that's negated.
Ironically, he left because the New 52 was happening.
Nope, he left because of Earth 1.
Well, wasn't it like at that time
No.
I remember, according to Comic Pop, the story was he got word that they were doing the reboot, and then Earth 1 was also happening.
It was more for Earth 1 to give him time to work on it.
I see.
But that's from what I understand. But if I had to pick between those two, I'd say Truth. As bad as it was more of a case of how much they stretched it out, but you knew it was going to be reversed.
Yeah, because here's the problem. BMB, it was eventually pretty much all reversed except for John, but BMB did so much more that could not be ignored.
And let's be honest, it was in his case, it would have lasted for as long as he was on the book. Whereas at least with Truth, you knew it was just an arc.
Yeah, exactly. It was just going to be like an arc thing.
But unfortunately, much like some other books, what made it a slog was that it was multiple books telling the same thing.
Oh, hey, Robert, remember when Vandal Savage got Superman's powers? Yeah, that was like so. I'm like,
now I'll say this: Vandal Savage being tied into it was not a bad idea. But again, you knew that wasn't the long-term plan. They just threw it together.
I know.
Okay, I will say this. Sorry, I will say this about New 52 Superman. His final story went out with a bang.
I like that storyline. Yeah, last Days of Superman. Yeah, I liked it. But
even though, yeah, go ahead.
It says, do you think that's the reason why Grant Morrison's run is the one?
Oh yeah,
52 is getting the best rep in Superman discussions. Not only that, yeah, that and Superman Wonder Woman, I think get the rep because he acts like Superman in there.
Oh yeah, but I would say Grant more so.
Grant more so, probably, I would say so. But let me put this way, Grant more consistently, because again, after issue 12, it falls off a cliff.
Well, yep. Although you could never say with the Super Wonder. Once after issue 7, it got roped into Doomed.
Yeah, and it was like, oh God, what is happening?
Which I'll be honest, that's why I call Sewell. As much as I enjoyed those issues of Doomed, it's a 7-issue run.
In a lot
on his own.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, you're kind of right about.
Well, that. I don't make no 8 because you gotta count 12.
Yeah, exactly. But Tevia asked how many books were in Superman Truth because it's been a while since they read that story.
Okay, actually, believe it, Batman and Superman were the only ones not involved. At first they were, but the rest of it they weren't. But hold on, I got the issues right in front of me. Let me look. No, that's Doomed. Okay? So you had Superman 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and in Action 41 through 47. Batman Superman was 21 through 24, and then 25 onward. And they kept going on and off, but with that one. Superman Wonder Woman was 18 through 24. And then you had the what led into Savage Dawn, which wrapped it all up. And then but yeah, everything from 41 all the way to 52 technically is one big story.
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that?
Yeah. And then man, Liz is in can she be fixed post Tom King run? They'll try.
Oh yeah, they will definitely try.
My opinion is no, but we'll see about that. Punk Trace says, hello, amigos. I was on a break from comics when the New 52 was happening. I bought a New 52 Wonder Woman trade paperback. Pick up Superman Wonder Woman. Trust me.
Hey, Punk, how's it going? But I was about to say was, when it comes to, let me put it this way. If Riri Williams could be salvaged.
Is she, though? Because she doesn't show up that much.
No, but she's nowhere near as hated as she once was.
It's true. But so here's the other thing, NJ. It's like ICV2 came out. I'm going to bring this up, Robert, real quick. But so one of the points that ICV2 was talking about, among other things, so one of the things that ICV2 brought up is that the Batman Beyond and Static Beyond book, so far is not doing well. And then the other thing is that is that when you look at the sales report for like Trinity throughout its entire thing, the wording of ICV2 is there is zero consumer interest in King's pet character.
Fair enough.
Now
I would throw it out.
Yep. Now, here's the thing. A, we'll see if DC pays attention to that. And B, we'll see how they respond to that if they do listen to it. Because, again, as far as we know, there are two scenarios I could see happening because of this. And, Robert, you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Scenario one, and they're not organized by likelihood. I just want to be clear about this. I'm just going to list them. Number one, they make it so King does what I said I think he's going to do. He has Trini go back in time, stop the whole matriarch thing from happening, which results in her not being born because they undo Steve's death. That's one thing. Or they do something else, depending. Again, a lot of this depends on how the Wonder War ends, if that's its last arc. And then another writer either doesn't touch her or tries to like do another thing. But I honestly, I don't think the one thing I will say that this will probably do, she will not get her own book.
Well, I agree with that. Just like Yara won't.
Yeah, Yara definitely won't. And that's the other thing about it, because with Yara, Yara got her book, and people were, I remember people asking when it was canceled, it's like, why did they all of a sudden cancel? And I'm like, it didn't sell.
Very true.
That's why. So if a book doesn't sell, it's not going to work. Now, people could say, okay, so if they didn't retcon Yara, why would they retcon Trinity? It's like,
that's a good point.
My counter to that, you didn't see as violent of a opposition to a character with Yara as you did Trinity. If anything, you saw people going, oh, we like Yara.
Yeah, but at the same time,
until some other stuff happened.
But you could also make the argument there was such an over-the-top reaction from many people that they aren't going to take all of those criticisms seriously.
Oh, sure, but it's like it depends on like now. Here's the point there with that. So yes, you do have a good point with that, Robert. But the difference is with this scenario is that first off, DC is now censoring even civil disagreements about the character in their like Instagram account. So there is that. So DC knows that there is a big negative reaction to this character. Ergo, also add on to it that King knows there was a big hatred of this character because he even said he didn't get the voice right. And a friend of mine actually got access to the first issue of Wonder War, and he basically said, yeah, it's another issue of Trinity being Trinity.
All right.
So I'm like, now again, we'll see. I'm not saying it's like a guarantee that that's going to happen, but I'm like, no, I'm just going to say it's going to be interesting to see how this ends up.
That is very true. I am not going to argue that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, let me, because again, it's too early to predict say for certain what's going to happen, obviously, because we're not in on these conversations. I'm just going to say what the two scenarios that I listed are the two likely scenarios. Do we agree on that, Robert?
I would still add on the whole, yeah, someone try to fix it, but then I will go into a subcategory for that. Either they will keep her baby Trinity and decide we'll just come up with a new take, or they try and fix the older Trinity.
Which, here's my point to that. If I were them and they wanted to try and salvage this character, treating the version that everyone hates as not existing is the best option. If you're going to try and salvage the character.
Oh, yeah. And I would agree with that. That's why I feel better to just get rid of the older version, keep baby Trinity as a fresh start.
And the way I would do that, at least here's the way you could do it to give the Wonder Woman fan base now here's what about the other what about the other Trinities like kids? No. We're saying keep baby those ones don't exist, period, because
at most if you need to age her up to the toddler Trinity, and that's it.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Here's the thing, Tavia. those versions of the character only exist because of specific circumstances in the story as well.
Exactly. But like I said, of them all, Toddler Trinity is the only one people will tolerate compared to the other two.
It depends on how they do it, but the best ways that they can guarantee that they can at least make it a little more likely that the Wonder fan base will go along with it. Now, again, whether or not they care, that's another story. But let's say this is how you can get people on board. You retcon out the Steve connection. Make it so it's like Amazonian magic or like the Clay origin. You gotta undo the Steve focus.
Oh, I would agree to undo the Steve focus portion, yes.
Because here's the thing. It was very honestly stupid of King to talk about how important to feminism the Clay origin is and then make the Clay origin for Trinity all about Steve.
I will agree with that. I will not argue that whatsoever.
That what I think they should do. Now, in terms of the question lies is how much of the other stuff are they going to change? Now, if it's a baby, the entire character can change. But
exactly. Hey, look at with Andy.
Yeah. Now,
baby Andy is completely different from everything else.
Yeah. So now in terms of like the name or like Trinity name,
I think that's locked in because of copyright, trademark, and all that.
Unless the Trinity part is because here's the thing. Because what they could do, and by the way, Elementary, here's my problem with Kid Trinity. The other thing that they need to do, that they really need to do, at least for a year, if they keep baby Trinity, keep her away from John and Damian. Don't do stories about the three of them together.
Yep.
Particularly since King's selling point for King's reason for this character existing, his words, mind you, not mine, is because Batman and Superman have kids.
Yep.
Like, you publicly tell people that? I get that that's the internal reasoning for that. I understand that. You don't tell people that.
Agreed.
Like, what are you doing?
Agreed.
But, and in terms of, and Tavia, once King leaves, the Sovereign's not going to be a factor. I guarantee you. Agreed.
The Sovereign is going to end up like Red Cloud.
Yeah, unless they want to crap on it or something like that. And the
matriarch... Unless someone comes up with a good story, which again, it's possible. I never thought Nemesis was going to come back.
No, yeah, but again, it's like the other thing is like, again, or you could get a story, you could get a creator, the next creator on Wonder Woman just doesn't like Trinity, and they themselves take the initiative to get rid of her. That could happen as well. Again,
that could happen, but
Robert and I don't know what's going to happen. We're just going off of what we think is likely to happen. And
now, I will say this: what the odds of any of the writers there currently who would hate him and the character that much, or hate King that much, I wouldn't say that's a guarantee.
Not hate King. The ones that I think don't like would undo the vast majority of his storyline just because they don't like it are Rucka, maybe Kelly.
Maybe, and I'll say Rucka, I think, would rework it to make it something he would do. Because like I said, I've told you off stream before, he's been wanting to do that Daughter of Wonder Woman story.
No, but here's the difference, though. It's less of a thing if like he didn't create the character.
But I think he'd be able to accept that if he overhauled her and basically make and have people remember his version, he'd accept that.
Well, the other thing that's interesting about like Rucka is like, and I told Britt this, is like, here's the thing about Rucka. If there's ever a writer that let's say he didn't want to do that, let's say he didn't like Trinity at all. There's one writer currently that would get Wonder Woman that has the cachet to get rid of her. It's Rucka.
That is true to a point.
To a point.
Because let's be honest, he's not at the same clout status he once was.
But if they really want to keep him happy and like, the point is, I'm saying to a point, but it's like of the people currently at DC, who's going to have the most cachet to do that?
Very true.
Actually, maybe Kelly because of absolute Wonder Woman sales and stuff. But I'm saying of who has a history writing current Wonder Woman.
Exactly. And just to remind people, Just because Kelly is working on is working on Absolute doesn't mean that it's guaranteed she'd be even willing to go and jump onto the mainline book, because no one has ever written two drastically different versions of a character at the same time like that, or at least done it well.
Yeah. Now, again, we're not saying it's not. We're not saying it definitely can't happen. It's just maybe Kelly doesn't want that. But the other thing is, we could get a scenario where DC just wants to treat King's entire story as one self-contained thing, and they don't want to continue with Trinity, whether or not that's because of the sales stuff or like that was the plan from the beginning. There's any number of scenarios that could happen, right, Robert?
Exactly.
And we don't know. We'll probably know more. Let me put it this way. The first determining factor we need is if he's leaving at 40.
Exactly, which we don't know.
Let's focus on that first, because once we get that, then we can start to see how he wraps up the story.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so similar to New 52, Wonder Woman beginning back in the day, but for present day. Well, the other thing about they could treat it like the Azzarello run, where like they reference some plot points, but largely the story of that is just self-contained.
Yeah.
As far as we know, that could be the plan, because that could be how King got them to let him do whatever he wants. It could be he's like, no, you can treat this like it's its own thing, or I'll use time travel and undo everything at the end. So just let me tell my story.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But anyway, back to Superman. Let's talk about Superman. Elementa says, I'm disappointed that Wade's action run isn't too hot in sales because I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it too.
Yeah.
The thing that I really liked about it, my favorite issue so far is the Superboy at War issue, because it's like Clark seeing warfare for the first time. That would screw with someone.
By the way, okay, can we just jump on to NJ's one thing when he said it's not about the two Wonder Woman books? NJ, it's still different enough, and like I said, there has been no known precedent of a creator doing something like that, whether from two different universes. Even I'm talking about Marvel work. I can say it. Even Bendis, when working on Ultimate Spider-Man, wasn't writing the mainline Spider-Man outside of New Avengers, but not the main book.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's the other point I want to make here about that. Yes, the characterizations are the same, but the world in which those characters live is vastly different.
Exactly.
So that's the key point that Robert's trying to say. Obviously, from a characterization-wide standpoint, you are right, NJ, that they are the same Wonder Woman. But it's like,
definitely.
When it comes to the world and context, now again, Kelly could want to do that because it gives her the opportunity to write different things. And yes, NJ, we're not saying she can't do it. We're just not convinced that she will do it.
Exactly. We're not convinced that she will.
Because I have all the confidence in the world that if Kelly wanted to do it and they offered it to her, she could do it well, 100%.
Yep, but here's the thing, though. Also, NJ, not you, not us, can speak for her, so we can't even say if she can do it. Maybe she can't. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. New question: what were the effects of the Superman Doom storyline? How long did the Doomsday virus?
Not much.
It left after this storyline, as far as I know.
Yeah, the worst that happened was just those immediate issues, and then they started moving into truth.
Oh my gosh, we had no idea how well we had it.
I know, because then DCU shot everything.
Oh my god, DCU.
Again, Batman and Justice League were the only ones mostly unaffected. Green Lantern was the only one that actually had some good stuff happen with it.
Let me tell you, as much as I love the New 52, YOU is what killed it.
It is.
YOU is 100%
again, except for Batman, Justice League, and Green Lantern.
Yeah, everything else was like royally screwed.
It was.
Like now, do I still think Rebirth what was what was an overreaction? Yes, I do. However, it's like at that point I could see the argument for DC, like, let's just go back.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the argument. Not saying I agree with it, but I can see the argument.
Exactly.
But anyway, what other questions do you guys have for like? And Tavia says that yeah, it is fun, but it's like Tavia's bored with that. I'm not at that level yet. I'm still like, because at least Wade is doing new stuff with it. Now I will agree, it could start to get stale.
It could. That's why I think it's going to go up to 1/100.
Yeah, and then
That's my guess. That's my guess. I think then they're going to shake it up.
Yeah, and then maybe go back to the not the like all-star creator format, but maybe just Wade telling like Superman world stories.
Yep, even if it's set in the past.
Even if it's set in the past, he could still do that because Lord knows he does great with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that this is building up to because they're getting so close to that number.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think it's a good place to leave it. So this was a fun story. I would rate Superman Doomed. I give it a 7.
Yep, I give it a 7 as well.
Yeah, NJ
But
says
yeah, we're 5 issues away from 1/100.
Yeah, exactly. NJ says new 52 suit or absolute suit. Which one's better? I honestly, I got to go absolute suit because of that cape.
I would agree.
That cape is just so cool.
And I would say he's more drastically different. He's not at play it safe.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. But anyway, so Robert, so you also rate Doomed a 7 out of 10?
Yep. Again, it's both one of the best stories of New 52, but it was also a clear example of the problems with New 52.
Mm-hmm. By the way, real quick, this other thing. So what do you think of... So Warner Bros. Has revealed that Paramount's new offer could lead to a superior proposal than their current deal with Netflix.
I'm willing to wait and see because they're still trying to lean on people, the shareholders saying, let us stick with it, but it's up to them.
Yeah, it's up to them, but it's like, imagine if all of a sudden out of nowhere, it's like, well, we're a Paramount project now after we made all that announcement.
I know.
Maybe not make the announcement that soon. And by the way, so we'll talk about this definitely more on CLD. But yeah, all of Robert's links are below.
Yep.
And then we will see you guys later for let's see what's next. Oh yeah, so Wonder Woman Wednesday, real quick, is I'm going to be talking about the Steve Trevor worship. I'm going to talk about why the Wonder Woman fan base turned on Steve because of the King run, and because now there were always people that didn't like Steve. I've learned it wasn't to this degree.
Right, I can understand that.
So I'm going to talk about why it got to this degree. But anyway, stay at work, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane, and we will see you guys later. Stay super.